welcome back, guys. I'm obviously not here alone this time. I am with my beautiful girlfriend, Mia. And today we're just going to talk about how my transition has affected our relationship. If you see me look down at my wrist, it's because I have my watch on, and we've been having some issues recording today.
Recording.
Yep. So this is the third time we've tried making this video. So yes, here we go. Hopefully all goes well. All right. But yeah, so we're going to talk about how my transition has affected our relationship. We've been dating for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in December.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a long
Wow.
time. I keep saying it, and it's still crazy to me every time I say it. But we've been through a lot, and especially within this last year especially.
2020 has been crazy.
And a lot of it has been because I personally am going through a lot with like the hormone changes and, you know, just other stuff too. And Mia has as well, and just kind of, you know, working that out as we're together and stuff like that. So
Going individually together.
yes. So yeah, well let's get into it. All right. So I would say there's been like three, I guess, two big things that we've had to kind of get through due to my transition, I guess, and then one like kind of like just something to keep in mind. And again, this is our story, so
Yes.
it doesn't mean like every single person who's in a relationship and who's also like one of the people in there is transitioning, this is how it's gonna go. Not at all. Everyone's different. So, but yeah, this is just how it went for us. So the first big thing was sexuality. So like I said, when we first started dating, I identified as a woman, so we were in a like gay relationship, just a gay lesbian relationship, whatever. And as you know, I started hormones, then I started to kind of question my sexuality. In the past, I feel like I didn't have enough like space in my head to kind of think about anything like that. I always knew that I was attracted to women, and that was never like a question for me, really. But I never really was able to comfortably like figure out if I was attracted to guys, because of the gender stuff, which I'll talk about in a different video probably. But yeah, so prior to starting hormones, we both had done a lot of research online, just kind of seeing what some of the like possible changes would be, and a big one was like some people said that their sexuality or who they were attracted to changed. So it was a little bit of a concern, more so I think. Like, I wasn't as worried about it because I felt like, that'll never happen to me. But Mia, I don't know if you want to discuss a little bit before I started hormones, like what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I mean, I did my own research. We each did our own research, and that was something that I saw that was a little bit common in relationships, and it's like some people transitioning would open up more doors in their sexuality, like they'd be open to genders they thought they weren't attracted to before, and some people would just completely change. They'd be into women, and then they're like, not my thing, go to men, you know? And power to that, power to them. So I was a little nervous. It made me a little anxious because I want Sarai to be the best him that he could possibly be, the person he's meant to be. And a part of me was a little pre-sad that if it happened, that, you know, you decided that you were into men, like, you know, we wouldn't be a couple anymore. So that, of course, I don't want to, like, keep you all to myself, but, like, I didn't want that to happen, but I didn't want to be that one person holding you back from being you, so.
Yeah, it was I didn't think that in the beginning, and then, like, about 2 months in, like, around February, then, like, I was starting to get used to, like, being on hormones, starting to see little tiny changes, and then I started thinking about my sexuality, and I was like, I wonder, could I be attracted to men? And there was never a time where I stopped being attracted to Mia. Like, just put that out there. I was always attracted to her, and like that never changed. But then I just started thinking, like, I now that I'm actually starting to express myself and like figure out who I am and what's gonna make me happy, am I really just attracted to women? And I had to kind of sit with that a little bit at first, and I was a little nervous to mention that to Mia because, she had told me before I started hormones, like, this is something that is on my mind. So yeah, I did kind of wait a little bit to tell her because, I didn't want her to, like, think, like, I was trying to break up, or I didn't think I wasn't attracted to her anymore, or I didn't want to be with her, or anything like that. Yeah. But that was something we did have to kind of, eventually, once I told her, we just had to kind of work through it. And, like, I don't know, do you want to say, like, how you kind of responded when I told you?
Yeah. So I thought it was something that needed to be discussed. Like, that's kind of, in my opinion, a big deal when your partner's like, maybe my sexuality is more of a horizon than I thought it was. Yeah. To me, like, if you need to explore, say that. But Sarai kind of said it and was like, okay, that's it. I said it. Let's be done with that. So at first it was hard to talk about it. More so him. But once, after a little bit of time, once we were able to talk about it, as hard as it was to ask, I asked him, like, do you want to go explore this? Do you want to go see if you are interested in men, Like, is that something you want to do? And that was hard because I didn't want to lose you. And personally, I'm not comfortable with an open relationship. So yeah, the idea of, having to split for you to go explore that side.
Figure that out.
Yeah. That was a little hard, but those are important things that I thought needed to be asked and answered so that you can really figure out, like, who Sarai is, the real Sarai that's, like, coming out.
Yeah, and I think that was important. Like, if you are in a relationship with someone during, like, a transition like this, those are going to be some of, like, the difficult questions you'll probably have to talk about, which is, it's hard, like, not saying it was easy at all, but I'm glad that you, like, to this day, I'm really happy that you were able to ask me those questions and we were able to talk about that, because then, like, eventually, obviously we're still together now, so, after I kind of sat with that and figured out what that meant to me, or, kind of what was going on, I realized, like, I'm not really attracted to men. I can't really see myself being with a man, or, like, romantically, intimately, anything like that. But, there are some men I think are attractive. I just can't see myself being with them. But I was happy that we're able to kind of figure that out together, rather than, like, not talking about it at all, and then me just kind of sitting with those feelings, and then, like,
not really processing that.
Yeah, and then maybe, like, worst case scenario, it turning into some kind of resentment or anything like that, or so that was something we had to work through, and I'm glad we did. But yes, that's something I would say is pretty important. Like, I wouldn't say, just because you go on testosterone, automatically your sexuality is going to change, but it is, like, a possibility that those feelings will come up, and because you're starting to feel more comfortable with yourself, so you'll start, like, exploring other, things that you might have suppressed in the past. But yeah, so that was one thing. The other thing was, this better not be too long. I was starting to, this was about, like, May, so a couple months after the last, okay. And
2020.
Yes. And I decided that it would be a good idea to, message another girl and I didn't do anything physically with this person, but
yes.
It's the intent behind it. So I messaged this other girl, and it was friendly conversation, but it was friendly conversation that didn't need to be had. And it gets worse. So I did not tell Mia about it, and then she found out. I lied about it, and then so I lied about it. I didn't. I hid it from her. Then I lied about it, and then, well, I did it in general. So yeah, and then I was also looking up some of my exes on social media and stuff. Again, hiding it and not saying anything about it, and then lying about it. Yeah. So the reason that this has to do with transition, which I didn't know at the time, I just kept saying I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. Yeah. Which wasn't helping at all. Granted, at the time I didn't know, but I realized it was I was kind of looking for validation because I was starting to see a bunch of changes that were big to me, and Mia was like, "Yeah, this is I'm seeing them too." But I felt what about the rest of the world? Are they seeing these changes? And especially from I don't know, other women, are they seeing the changes? Because I thought I was not the shit, but I was feeling good. I was starting to finally feel myself, and I was like, okay, excuse me, what does everybody else think?
Yeah.
Which should not have been, that shouldn't have happened.
Point blank.
Yeah, there's no, what about, it just shouldn't have happened. So that is something, I don't know if it's just me, but searching for validation, if you are in a relationship with someone at the time that you're going through a transition like this, then it's very, very important to keep that communication. Make sure you're constantly communicating, even if it's a little change in a mental change that you're oh, I just started thinking about this. Just keep talking about it, even if you feel okay, I always talk about it too much, I talk about all my transition stuff too much. It's always important because you never know if something like that could come up, or you'll be a situation will arise, and then you'll make a decision which could ruin things for you that you really don't want to be ruined. Mm-hmm. Just because in that point in time you're okay, let's just do it, and you weren't thinking about anything else just because you're looking for validation. So that was, yeah. What do you want to say about
that? Yeah, that was a hard time. I almost ended things because one of my ultimate boundaries is cheating and lies. And Sarai knows, regardless how deep we are in our relationship, if there's ever any cheating, that's it. I truly do not care. I'm done. I'm out because I've been cheated on before, so not dealing with that again. And Sarai didn't physically cheat, but the dishonesty and the
it's all the same ingredients.
Broken. Yeah.
Same ingredients as what would happen if I did.
Yeah. And so it really took a lot of time and a lot of just me processing it and just talking about it, even though Sarai was tired of talking about it and I wanted to talk about it.
Because I knew I had messed up, which doesn't mean you shouldn't talk about it, but I knew I had messed up, so it was just well, this sucks. And it sucked for a while. We talked about it for a long time. And it had to be done. Either that or it wouldn't have worked out. If we would have stopped talking about it or just talked about it once, we would not be where we are now. Not at all.
No, because personally I needed answers, and that's just how I am. I just need answers to things, and I need to know why And so I didn't have that for me at the moment. So I took time for Stry to figure out exactly why he did what he did, and then I had to hear those answers, hear what happened, and all of that, all the little in between the details. So it was like a week of talking.
No. A week of, I would say like 2 weeks of talking, and then like a month of like trying to work out, really like focusing. Not that we don't focus on our relationship all the time, but like we had to like put in the work.
We really had to put in the work and really like focus on us and decide where we want to be in the future. If we truly do see this working out, if we really do want to be with each other, if those feelings are still as strong as they were, and all of that. So it took a lot of time, a lot of
effort,
a
lot of everything,
a lot of trust that was broken, that had to be rebuilt. Yeah, and that to me was like the one biggest thing in the relationship, where it was like, now's our time to end it or work on it. And we really did like say that to each other, like, are we gonna work on this, or are we just gonna end things now? And personally, I'm really glad that we worked on things.
Me too.
Not to speak for you, but like I'm really happy we did,
because it really could have gone either way. Like,
I never really have questioned where our relationship stood until that moment. And that's the only moment.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, and again, this is our story, so doesn't mean like everybody's gonna go through this same exact thing. But it's just like, keep these things in mind, I guess, or learn from our my mistakes and our experience. That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
But yeah. Anything else you want to say about that one?
No, not that I can think of.
Alright, so, yeah. And then the last thing, which is not like a huge deal because nothing happened because of it. I guess it was more like on me than anything. But, within like the last 3 months, I would say, I think I've started to feel like more aggressive, not in a physical way, like towards Mia or anything like that. Like, I've never put my hands on her, and I never will. But it's like sometimes I just have like a shorter fuse. Yeah, shorter fuse. Like, it feels like I can get upset easily over things that I would never usually get upset about. And then when I get upset about it, the way I get upset is different than I did pre-hormones. So, like, now, like, especially, like, if someone, like, there was one day we had came back, we had went out that night or something, and we were coming back inside, and, like, it seemed like some dude was in the parking lot just staring. And I was ready to fight. Like, I was like, okay, boo. And I was like, all right, okay, if he comes over here, I swear to God, I'm going off. Because, so it's just little things like that. And it's not just, like, with us, but, like, out and about, if I'm, like, at work or something like that, sometimes little things will just tick me off. And I'll be like, I'm I'm ready to go. Like, I'll get an attitude real quick. And it's just, that's something that, like, I try to know. I think I noticed it right away because I was like, well, at least to me. And then I told Mia as soon as I could, or as soon as I could put words to it. Because, like, hey, this is kind of weird. I usually am not like this. And I also told my therapist, and I was like, hey, I think something's going.
I think something's happening.
Like, this is not okay. But it's just one of those things, like, to be mindful of. If you do start noticing, like, all these changes, I would say, are, like, very, like, mental or emotional changes. Which, those are probably the biggest things that you have to deal with, especially when you're in a relationship with someone, because those are the ones that you really don't, I guess, you don't really expect them. You're always looking for like the physical stuff that's gonna change, but no one really shares their experiences on the mental changes like that I've seen at least.
Yeah, the research that we did, there wasn't like a lot of people talking about their mental changes that they've had to deal with. Like the validation, their sexual orientation, the aggression, just like their whole thought process.
Yeah.
So, and there's no step-by-step manual on how to handle someone transitioning or going through a transition. It's case by case, person by person, because there's a million different things that could happen. So, yeah, this is just one of the things that Sarai's just had to cope with. And pre-transition, Sarai was the most calmest, level-headed person I've ever met. So I was very, very happy that he brought up, he noticed himself getting more upset faster than usual, because when I noticed it, I was like, this is different. This is not Sarai.
Something else is happening.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and, like, it still sometimes happens now, but I'm very aware of it. And, like, with top surgery, because I had top surgery a couple days, again, watch that video if you haven't already. But, like, before that, if I would start to feel like that, out of nowhere is usually when it happens, then I'll, like, remove myself from the situation. Usually I'll get irritated by something, and I'll be like, no, it's probably this again. And then I'll, like, try and work out, or, you know, just do something to get that extra energy out, and that really helps. So I would definitely say if you do start experiencing like a little bit more aggression like that, then you're not alone. It happens. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with it is testosterone. Like even like people who go through male puberty, anyone who goes through male puberty might experience something like that, where they just have this extra energy or something. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. But make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and also my blog. I'll have the website down below. And then if you have any questions for me or for Mia or for us together, you can put those in the comments, or you can also check out my different social media pages, or you can email me too. Either one of those, I'll pretty much answer any of them. So thanks for watching, and stick around for the next video / blog post. Peace.